time who say, I wish I had known this stuff when I was younger. And you guys, for a lot of those people, they took their first step in getting into debt their first day of college. At this point, you're probably thinking, all right, Rachel, I won't take out loans, but how in the world am I going to pay for college? Well, that's what we're going to dive into right now.
I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into that.
Depends. It can be $1,000 a year or $4,000 a year.
I'm not really sure about that, actually.
About $20,000 a year.
Public, maybe about 16 grand. Private, probably closer to 30 to 40 grand.
It depends, like you said, public or private, but I'm going to a private college and I believe it's $24,000 a year.
Public, kind of more than a private.
Private, the ones that I've looked at are like 22,000, and that's in-state and out. And in-state tuitions that I've seen are like 6,000.
Depends on what kind of scholarships you get and what kind of grades you make. But probably, for me, hopefully only a couple thousand.
Public is probably around 20,000 a year.
I'm not sure about public because I'm going private, but it's 20,000 a year plus around 6,000 to 7,000 for room and board. So a lot of money.
Say about, if it's a big college, it's about 200 to 500. If it's a small college, about 100 to 300.
Here's the good news, you guys. There are tons of ways to cash flow college. Get good grades. Do well in your ACT or SAT. Shop around. Research grants and scholarships. Get a part-time job or work on campus. In fact, a combination of all of these things is really the way to go. Of course, it won't happen automatically. You will need a plan. So let's walk through each of these options. The first thing you can do right now is get good grades. You know that grade in that one class that you hate the most and swear you'll never use out in the real world? Well, it matters. It matters because your grades are a big part of your acceptance into college. Also, good grades can help you get free money. Who wouldn't want that, right? So you're basically getting paid to be a high school student. Hard work now equals big money later. Another way to earn big money is by doing well on your ACT or SAT. These tests measure your understanding of what you've been taught during your 4 years of high school. It's important to remember that you don't have to wait until the end of high school to take the test. It's actually a good idea to sign up for the ACT or SAT your sophomore year. Right away, you'll get a clear picture of what areas you excel in and what areas you'll need improvement. You can find study books at your local library or take prep courses offered by a community college or university in your area. Many of them are pretty inexpensive or totally free. Keep in mind that the ACT and the SAT are not created equal. Some students find that they do much better on one test than another. So go ahead and take both multiple times. One student, Chad, took the ACT 18 times. Yeah, that's a ton of early Saturday mornings. By the end, though, he earned a perfect ACT score and received a full ride scholarship to college. That, my friends, makes it all worthwhile. Now, maybe you're thinking, how much does college even cost? I mean, what is a full ride scholarship really worth? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The most recent averages are as follows. For a private university, $29,000. For an out-of-state public university, $21,700. For an in-state public university, $8,600. Oh, and did I mention those numbers are per year? That means your total tuition costs at graduation can range anywhere from $34,000 to $116,000 in just 4 years, people. And that doesn't even include living expenses like rent, food, or bills. That's why it pays not only to get good grades and to do well in your ACT and SAT, but also to do your research. As you're thinking on where you'd like to go, it's a good idea to narrow down your choices to 6 schools or less. Then get to work. Look online to determine what degree programs each school offers, how much tuition costs, where the school is located, the price differences between living at home versus living on campus, and any other factors you and your parents feel are important. We offer a great resource and tools online at foundationsu.com to help you choose a college. Also, don't pick a school based on where your friends are going. Schools that have an awesome football team or a big party scene might sound awesome right now, but those things won't matter much when you're 25, jobless, with no college degree, and a ton of debt. Instead, explore your options with a keen eye. A more expensive school does not always mean a better quality. Many employers don't care where you went to college. They just want to know that you graduated. So think about skipping the private school and don't just step over your state line to go to a public university and pay 3 times as much. I went to a state school in my own state, remember? No complaints here. It was an awesome experience, and you can do the same. You can also attend a community college for the first 2 years to knock out your basic courses at a super low cost. Then you can transfer those courses to a local university to get your 4-year degree. So it won't matter that you went to a community college. Your degree will only show that you graduated from a 4-year university. Keep in mind that if you attend a community college, you should work closely with your advisor to make sure your classes transfer. Most of them do, but it's always best to be on top of things so you don't waste any time or effort. I know that this is a lot, but there's even more options to consider.
My school was a private school, and the sticker price at that school, after you factor in everything, tuition, room, board, food, was about $45,000 a year. That was a huge price tag, and I didn't have that kind of money going into it. But I had it in my head early that I wanted to graduate debt-free. And so I knew that I could find the opportunities to cut that cost down and to make it manageable. Colleges offer so many opportunities to cut down on that cost, be they scholarships, be they work studies, being an RA, tons of things. I got a scholarship in my college for playing in a bagpipe corps. There are tons of things that colleges will do to help you cut down on costs. So never look at that and be like, $40,000, there's no way I could do that without debt. Because at the end of the day, if you do your homework and you start early, it's not going to be that much. One of the most important things when you're trying to graduate debt-free is scholarships. The truth is there are hundreds of thousands of dollars out there, tens of thousands of dollars that go unclaimed every year because no one even bothers to apply. So if you want to cut out a big chunk of your tuition cost, you're going to have to research a lot of scholarships. The good news is there's a lot of help out there. Oftentimes scholarships will have you write an essay. This is a really, really important piece. So you want to make sure that as you're applying for these scholarships, you're getting the writing help to make your essay stand out. Because believe me, if it's a popular scholarship that tons of people are applying for, most people are going to write that essay the night before the scholarships do. So if you want the scholarship, you can't do that. You're going to have to plan ahead, and you're going to have to spend several weeks, months, depending on the essay, writing it, perfecting it, making sure that it says what you want it to say, and that it expresses what you really want it to express. And an important piece to that is understand what the scholarship is looking for. Understand what that committee will be looking for, and then make sure you highlight the things you've done that fit in with that. The other key thing is that you're going to want to work during college. For me, I worked about 20 hours a week while I was studying, and my grades were always, great through that time. In fact, better than a lot of my friends who weren't working. The other thing is during the summer, plan on working during college. Plan on having 3 jobs. Your summer is the time to really save up a chunk of cash to put towards the next semester, because inevitably, you're going to do this research. I think you're going to get lots of scholarships because there are tons out there, but you're going to have that cash too. Another important thing is just keep the end in mind. Like I said, that was the key is beginning early. But another key is never forgetting that you want to graduate debt-free. You'll have loan officers that'll come up and tell you that you can't do it, that you need to take this loan. They'll offer you loans. So you have to keep it straight in your head that you want to graduate debt-free, and don't let anyone else tell you that you can't.
Scholarships you don't have to pay back. Student loans you do.
Scholarships, you're given money, but loans you have to people lend you money and you have to pay it back.
They're basically giving, it's like a reward.
Scholarships you earn by being good in school or at a sport, and loans are you just get paid to do it.
The scholarships are just giving you money for like your strength if you're really good at doing something or you're in a sport, but the loans you're going to have to eventually pay off, which catches up a lot of people.
Scholarships depend on like how well of a student you are and what your activities are sometimes, and money that you don't have to pay for, and loans you have to pay it back with interest.
In order to make the most of cash flow in college, you've got to hone in on the specifics, like filling out your financial paperwork, researching scholarships and grants, and finding a part-time job. First up is the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA is your first step of receiving any kind of money for college. You can get started on the FAFSA as soon as your parents submit their tax information at the beginning of your spring semester of your senior year. That means you can fill them out as early as January or February, and the sooner the better, because some federal funding is awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. So don't forget to file your FAFSA early. Filling out the FAFSA helps the government determine how much need your family has when it comes to paying for college. Based on what they find, you'll be awarded student loans and possibly grants. Remember, student loans are bad news. Make sure you ask that student loans be removed from your funding. Grants, on the other hand, are golden. Federal grants, such as the Pell Grant, are free money that never have to be paid back, unless, for example, you withdraw from school. But double check with your college's financial aid office. Most states offer other grants as well. Another form of free money is scholarships. We talked about how to get good grades and high scores on your ACT or SAT. That helps you get scholarships. But there are plenty more ways we haven't mentioned. Your college or university probably offers scholarships for things like being on a sports team, past volunteer experience, leadership roles, ethnicity, religion, or your college major. Some community-based organizations like the Rotary Club offer college scholarships. Also, local businesses offer them for children of employees or employees themselves. Of course, you can also search online to find countless scholarships, ranging from silly to serious. Now, you might have to write an essay, which sounds time-consuming, but think about it. If you just spend 1 hour writing an essay that earns you a $500 scholarship, that's like 50 times the amount that you can make working 1 hour at a part-time job. The bottom line is this: applying for scholarships will make a dent in your college costs. If you get stuck at any point in the process, just stop by your college's financial aid office. You can always check out our tools and resources on foundationsu.com. Once you've chosen your school and have scholarships and grants rolling in, you may be all set. If not, that means there's still a little bit more work to be done. Okay, you might be thinking, isn't college supposed to be fun? Nobody said anything about working on top of school. Okay, hear me out. Did you know that 78% of freshmen plan to work during their college years? And students who work up to 20 hours a week earn higher grades than students who don't work at all? That's because working helps you develop good time management skills, which directly translates to your classes. Now, you can find jobs off campus that offer flexible schedules for students in a variety of roles. Or you can work on campus in the library, the rec center, as a tour guide or a resident assistant. Some on-campus jobs can pay you directly, while others pay towards your tuition. Of course, the best way to be smart with your money is to follow the 5 foundations. That's because 8 out of 10 students who drop out of college drop out due to money. And if you do your research, apply for grants and scholarships, work while you're in college, have an emergency fund, and stick to your budget, you can be a student without a student loan and graduate debt-free.
Thanks for listening, America. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Next on the phones is Sarasota, Florida. Jim is calling. Hey, Jim, what's going on, man?
Hey, Dave. What's wrong with using student loans to help pay for college? Aren't loans okay as long as they're a good investment?
Well, I do agree with you, Jim, that a college education is a good investment because what you're really investing in is in you and in your future. We teach people to stay away from debt, period. And that certainly includes student loans. And the reason is your risk is increased. Here's the problem, Jim. Of the people that go to college, only 52 to 57% graduate. That means almost half the people that go to college with student loan debt come out without the degree and with the debt. Major problem. See, that equals risk. And you can't believe how many 32-year-olds I have talked to who are still struggling to pay off their student loan debt 10 years after college. And their student loan debt is dictating to them the type of career they can have because they can't afford to go out and do that job they want to do or open that business they want to open because they're stuck paying this loan. It saps the life out of you. And so while it sounds real sophisticated and real cool to call student loan debt good debt, it's really not, dude. Choose your college carefully to where you can afford to pay cash while you work your way through with your parents' help and getting scholarship help and those kinds of things. Thanks for the call.
We've talked a ton about going to college, but maybe you don't feel like college is right for you. And hey, that's okay. There are alternatives to getting a 4-year degree, and many of them can lead to a great career. Before you make the decision not to attend college, I want to encourage you to do something. Ask yourself why you don't feel like college is right for you, and be honest with your answer. It may help for you to talk with your parents or an adult that you trust. You might realize that you're just like the rest of us, a little scared of the unknown. You know, what will the first day be like? Or what if I can't make the grades? Those worries are totally normal, and most of them will be old news by the second week of college. But maybe you'll discover that college really isn't right for you. If that's the case, there's something you've got to know. A great career won't just happen. It must be built with a solid plan. And no, that plan doesn't include living with your parents in their basement, hoping to meet a lovely lady who will take over cooking and cleaning duties from your mom. It just doesn't work that way. So let's talk about a few options for your plan. First, there's trade school. Trade schools teach basic professional skills in 2 years or less. Local employers often seek out trade school graduates to fill open entry-level positions. You can also earn a certification or find ways to self-educate in your field of interest. Many community colleges, government programs, and online organizations offer free or low-cost certifications for a specific skill set. You can enhance your education by attending conferences, reading websites, books, or magazines related to your career of choice. Keep in mind that self-education requires a ton of motivation and resourcefulness. In some careers, you can even take advantage of on-the-job training or apprenticeship. You can learn by actually doing the work and using your hands instead of reading from a textbook. You can also earn an associate's degree that will allow you to begin your career right after graduation. These programs are often called Associate of Science degrees and don't require you to take any general courses taught in 4-year universities. That means that your classes may not transfer if you decide to get a 4-year degree later. Your advisor should be able to tell you which programs will transfer and which ones don't. If you're confident that a 2-year degree is what you're looking for, you can quickly enter into fields like nursing, cardiovascular technology, criminal justice, and many more. Or maybe you'd like to start your own business. If you choose to go to college first, you'll learn the vital skills like how to interact with others in a business setting, manage a team, track the company finances, and actually turn a profit. Pretty important stuff, right? But maybe you feel like you've got the passion and the know-how needed to open up a business right now, and that's awesome. Having confidence like that will take you a long way in life. But I also want you to be realistic. If you plan to start a business without a college education, make sure you're constantly learning from others who have started and ran successful businesses themselves. Everyone is different, and thank goodness, right? So it's totally okay if your life after high school doesn't look the same as your friends. What's not okay is settling because of uncertainties. If you're willing to put in the work, then you've got what it takes to conquer your fears and reach your dreams. Don't let anything hold you back from reaching your potential.
No, because I know I can still save up for it and go.
Yes, because you need money to get in a good college.
It has before, but thinking about it, it shouldn't.
Well, I'm gonna go to college no matter what. I guess money is a big part though, because I don't want to have a bunch of loans.
I guess you could say yes, but I've always worked hard and aimed for a scholarship, and my parents have really helped me on that too.
No, actually not really, because there's 3 colleges I was looking at before I signed, and all of them were full rides, so I guess not.
I know that for sure I'm going to college. I just know I have to work at it a little bit harder. I have to get more scholarship money.
Hopefully you see that when it comes to college and life in general, debt is not the answer. We've shown you tons of ways to get an awesome college education without ever touching student loans. Yes, that might mean working a full-time job in the summer and part-time during college. You may have to apply for every scholarship and grant out there. You may need to babysit a few whiny kids or mow your neighbor's lawn. But trust me, the 25-year-old version of yourself will thank you. Graduating from college and working that first real job and holding that first real paycheck feels so much better when it's all yours, when it's not going out to student loan payments. The decisions you make in the next 4 years can affect you for the next 40 years of your life. If you avoid debt, you'll have the freedom to go after your dreams in a powerful way. I talk a lot about changing your family tree, and that's my dream for this generation. Maybe you've grown up in a house where debt is a way of life. It would be easy for you to continue the cycle. You could accept student loans and sign up for a credit card before you ever graduate from high school. But now you know another way. I travel across the country talking to teens and college students, and I love seeing that many of them are making the right choice. They're working hard, saving money, avoiding loans, and taking responsibility for their future. It's incredible. I've met 23-year-olds graduating from college with no debt, and I'm telling you, their life is wide open. A little patience and sacrifice now will set you up for huge amounts of peace and joy later. And not just in your lifetime either. Your choice to avoid debt means your future spouse, kids, and family will enjoy the same lasting peace for generations to come.
Jake is with us. He's 20 years old in Houston, Texas, a sophomore in college. Hey, Jake, what's up?
Hey, Dave, not much. Hey, I've saved all I can for next semester, and my tuition's due next week, and I don't have enough money for it all. So I need your help to know if I should stay at school or if I should avoid going into debt.
Well, number one, anytime you pose 2 possible answers as the only 2 possible answers to a question, especially to try to box me into a corner, that's not a wise thing. That tells me you haven't done your work. Number one, we know you didn't do your work because you're not ready to pay for your tuition. Number 2, you haven't looked for enough other options. You're trying to pose to me that there's only 2 options. I can't finish school unless Dave Ramsey says it's okay to go in debt. Well, that's a fatalistic approach, and that's trash, dude. That's just wrong. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying if I'm in your shoes, I'm 20 years old, I'm going to say, A, I'm not borrowing money. Dave, you're telling him not to go back to school. No, I'm not. Listen. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be in there in financial aid's office. I'm going to be in the counselor's office. I'm going to be talking to the dean of the college. I'm going to be talking to some local businesses to support me and help me get going. I'm going to ask for an advance over at work if you're already working, and I hope you are. And I'm going to have done a whole bunch of other ideas to find money. There's a lot, sell your car, I don't know. If you really want to go to school, you'll find a way. Let's just pretend for a second student loans didn't exist. What would you do then, dude? Find a way. It's exactly what you'd do. Do I want you to quit school? No. I want you to go finish school. But I also want you to increase your ability to make decisions better than you've done.
If a student finds that their financial situation has changed, a parent has been laid off from their job, or there's been some sort of medical situation that has arisen with the parent or the student, it's important that they come into the financial aid office and sit down with a financial aid counselor and let that counselor find out what's taking place, because it's possible that their financial aid could be reevaluated and that their grant or scholarship could be increased to help them because of this particular situation.
With so many options for life after high school, you've got the opportunity to create an awesome educational experience, one that allows you to follow your passions and develop your skills. Above all else, remember this: Your education is an investment in you, so commit to being a lifelong learner. One of the best ways to do this is to read. Read books that are fun and entertaining, but be sure to also read books that challenge you. You can read biographies on great leaders and discover exactly what made them great. Or you can read books about specific topics where you'd like to excel. Learning really is fun when you're excited about what you're learning.